Yo, peace, y'all. Welcome to Substantial Sundays. I am so sorry we got a late start today, but yeah, at least we got started. As you notice, I am back in the studio for today. Originally, the plan was to be at the chef shop, but I was coming from out of town and I was running behind schedule, so I ended up getting in the crib much later, and my brother Shamar couldn't link with me later to do it. I couldn't go through his area because he had an appointment already for later. So we'll be back at it together next week. But per usual, if you are watching this right now, you've seen it before, you know the routine. And if you don't know the routine, make sure you say peace. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and all that good stuff, man. And so I'm excited to be rocking with y'all again. And I'm sorry for being gone away. Um, we had a lot of technical issues in the past and stuff like that. Last week was Mother's Day, but we are back. I'm gonna try to keep things flowing. So today's show, I'm gonna try to keep under an hour today because I just got back in town and I want to talk about the album, and we're gonna really kind of focus on the album today since the album just came out on Sunday. And I'm gonna get to your questions and all of that, and we're gonna do a live album commentary where I'll tell you about the record. All right. Christopher, peace, man. Thanks for tuning in, bro. Yeah, I know the game on right now, so I really appreciate y'all for rocking with me instead of watching the game. Or for those of you who are doing both, you know what I'm saying? So thank you. Lone Crew, peace, man. Good to see you up in here, family. All right. Lounge Man, I found your Tony Stanza joint. What can you say about that lush upbeat instrumental? Oh, word. I'll tell you about that in a sec. All right. And Renegade, peace to you, fam. That's what's up. Seattle up in here. All right. So look. So I'm gonna start with Renegade's question since we're jumping right into Q&A, and then we're gonna shift gears and focus on the album, and I'm gonna get you some updates and all of that good stuff. But first things first, if you haven't said peace yet, make sure you say peace. Let me know where you're tuning in from if you haven't done that already. And shout out to those of you if it's your first time watching, and special shout out to those of you who are loyal supporters who come back and check for this every week, even when I'm not doing it. I appreciate you. Real quick, let me make sure the album is loaded up first. Hold on, go to my library, make sure that is happening. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't done it already, please share the link. I'm about to lead by example and do the same as I always do. And then we're gonna get started. So real quick, and again, I'm gonna keep it moving, kind of make sure it's fluid today, just because I want to avoid any technical issues with the connection. That's part of the reason why I moved Substantial Sundays to the chef shop. Yeah, so hold on one second. Make sure that's good. And I think we're good. So if you haven't shared the link yet, make sure you do that. And I'm going to be right with y'all in 1 second. All right. Share the top line. Make sure Twitter already. Nope, hasn't done it on Twitter yet. So we got that going. Boom. And yeah. All right. Let's see. All right, give me 1 second, y'all, so I can get back in here. Click something I shouldn't have. All right. I hope y'all are having a great Sunday, though, man. I just got back in from being upstate. I had to see some family up there, and everything was good, man. Just quality time with the family is always good. I'm hoping y'all had some chances to get that in with your family as well. All right, so let's get into the agenda. So first things first, for those of you who don't know, my new album is called The Garden. It came out this Friday. I released it myself. It's completely produced by me, features some awesome people that you may have heard of. Shout out to Marcus D. Also, hey, thank you, the Bun Bun. I appreciate it. Features Marcus D. My man Gerson. Who else? Uyama Hiroto. Mason Lieberman. These are like all amazing people who play like instruments. And special shout out to Malcolm Jackson, who's probably actually featured on more tracks than anyone else. Who's a percussionist, who's super dope. And it also features my homegirl, Stephanie Gale, who y'all know better as Steph the Sapphic Songstress. So it features a lot of dope people. If you haven't seen the album yet, pow, that's what it looks like. It's sexy. It's so sexy. And so one of the things that makes the album really cool is it's not just the instrumental album, it's actually a photo album as well. So the artwork that you see on this record is 100% designed by me. The photos shot in this record, most of the photos were shot by me, with the exception of the photo on the back of the album cover. For those of you who get a physical copy, that was actually shot by my business partner and my wife, Rochelle. And then, and if you don't know about Rochelle, then you actually do, because if you know about a song called Eclipse, then you kind of know. You know what I mean? Same person. So yeah, so like I said, it's a photo album. You know, it's one photo, more photos. These are all photos shot by me. You know what I mean? So yes, it's you know, I try to, in this day and age where less and less people are buying physical merchandise, with the exception of vinyl and and cassettes, because those sales are going up. I try to make sure that the merchandise that I design, because that's what I went to school for, was graphic design. Try to make sure that everything I design is a work of art, so people feel like it's well worth their money. So even if you're a person who doesn't necessarily listen to physical music anymore, and you're more of a streaming type of person, then that's all good, because I make sure that the packaging makes it more like a collector's item. You know what I mean? So you know, to give you guys more. I appreciate y'all spending your money on what I do. Obviously, it helps me take care of me and mine. So I want to make sure that you feel like it's money well spent whenever I do these projects. And like most of my albums, most people don't know it, but going back all the way to my first album, I literally had a hand in designing every cover that I've ever, like, you know, for an album I've ever put out. And there's been times where I've hired like outside illustrators and photographers and stuff, but largely, for the most part, the overall packaging design is something that I've always handled. Hence why we started a company called Substantial Art and Music, where that's mainly what we do. But we're kind of doubling as a label as well to put out the music that I'm producing. So that's a little background on the physical aspects. These are available exclusively on Bandcamp right now. Shout out to Amoeba Music, though, out in Berkeley, California. They do have copies available there if you want to pick up some physical copies of the new album. And yeah, so let me hit you with this link real quick, so you can check out the different sites where it's available. So I'm gonna put it here. It's gonna say album here. Bang, linkage, Shazam. That should be showing up right now. So let me go through a couple questions and we're gonna get started. Christopher, thank you for the congrats on the new album joint. Says, reminds me of Nujabes album cover. Word. Which cover did you have in mind? I'm just curious. All right. Lounge Mang says, my all-time favorite song of yours, bar for bar, is Think Different. Do you ever almost run out of deep and conscious ways to spin subjects? That's a great question. So honestly, not. I wouldn't say I run out of kind of, well, I do find it. I find it challenging to come up with new ways to approach old subjects, because most of the subjects that are covered in music are usually subjects that we've all heard about, right? And so I think the real challenge for me is trying to find a unique way to talk about something that hasn't, to talk about something in a unique way that has been talked about a million times before. So perfect example is on an album, on the second Bob Alloy album, there's a song called Count on Us, where I literally talk about what it's like to be on tour and you know, just ripping and running, doing shows and all of that in our day to day. And so like the way I found a unique way to talk about that process, because it's been talked about a million times by indie hip hop artists and a few mainstream artists as well. I basically counted from 1 to 40, you know, like in the verse, and used the numbers in there in a clever way. Now, we've heard other rappers like use numbers in their rhymes, most of the time going up to 10. I think someone went up as high as like 15. So I was like, yeah, let me just do 40. Let me put a good distance between me and other people who try to tackle this. And then more importantly, I was like, y'all want to do it in story form and make sure that the fluidity of the story and the storytelling or whatever like isn't broken, like with like due to the concept. So, you know, that's just some of the things I try to do to kind of find new ways to approach old subjects, you know. So hope that answered your question. All right, so give me 1 second, y'all, and I'm gonna scroll back through the comments, and then I'm gonna get started on this commentary. All right. Think Difference, the first joy you heard. That's what's up, Christopher. Count on Us is such a great track. Thank you, Bun. I appreciate that. Motor Soul Classic 2 looks like it more. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right, the colors. So, all right, look, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get started with the commentary. Do me a favor. Once again, if you have not shared this link, the easiest way to get people who are fans similar to yourself to check out these videos is to share the link. So real quick, if you can just hit the share button on via, like, send it out via Twitter, Facebook, whatever platforms you have access to. But that's a great way to kind of get more people in. So we'll check it out, and we're gonna keep it moving right now. So let's get the music going. Play it via iTunes real fast. All right, and I'm gonna mute this over here. All right, let's start that track again in 1 second. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So for those of you who haven't heard the album yet, this is The Garden. All right. So this is track 1 from The Garden. This track is called Show Up and Show Off, right? I'm gonna turn it down a little bit, but I'll keep it low in the background and try to give you the rundown. So that track in particular is completely produced by me. It's a mixture of some samples mixed with me playing, some drum programming, a few chops and stuff like that. A really, really great track to start the record. So the reason why I call it Show Up and Show Off, my wife has a company that she works with called Black Dress, and basically they wanted to do these online videos where they were talking about different people in the fashion industry, and they needed music for their videos. And so she challenged me to do the music that would go into their videos, and that was really like the beginning of me really getting back into my production. And so it was like a challenge or whatever. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna show up and show off. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make a track that like is gonna be a great way to start their videos, and you know, and hopefully it keeps people engaged. And so I did the track, a simpler version of the same track before, and it came out really dope. My wife loved it, her business partner loved it, and it's funny, that track has actually been in circulation for almost 2 years in the rough version. But we're gonna let it ride out though. The horns is me playing on the keyboard, same one right there. Piano is me playing as well. Bass line I'm playing. Peace, Calvin. Yes, so that's track 1 of the album. That's track 1 of The Garden. That track is called Show Up and Show Off. So now we're gonna get into track 2. Track 2 is called Nostalgia. When I heard that piano, it took me back to like certain old school like boom bap production, like just 90s, whatever. So I wanted to put a new spin on something that reminded me of days of old, you know. That's what's up. So shout out to Gerson Zaragoza. That's him playing on he's playing electric guitar and he's playing bass on this. Marcus D is playing piano, and the new drums programmed by me, some bass programming by me. The horns that you hear come out of me playing, mixed with another horn sample that Marcus D found to mix with the horns I played. Those horns right there is what I play. And that stab right there is Marcus. It's one of my favorite tracks from the album. This is also going to be the next single for June. Perfect summertime joint, you know what I mean? It's cookout music right here, you know? got any questions about the tracks, feel free to throw them in at any point. And I'll be sure to answer it, all right? Just a quick heads up too. I have my album release party coming up. For those of you who are in and around the DMV, all right, here's the link for you. Coming up, 1 second. All right, Calvin, thank you, man. I appreciate you, brother. That's what's up, man. Yeah, man. You know, I've been making beats for so long. I've been making beats since I was 15, and I felt like I really wanted to push myself to kind of get my confidence up to really share my tracks. And I'm really happy with how things came out, man. And I think I'm excited about sharing a lot more with y'all. I've been making a lot of beats or whatever. I've done some remixes for a few folks. There's a R&B singer who's from Maryland, who's based out in Paris right now, who I've been working with her. Her stuff's a little more modern, a little more trap influence. So I've been doing that. Working on a track with me and A1 that I produced, that I actually started producing live with Substantial Sundays. And so, yeah, man, I'm just excited to share more production with y'all. I got a lot more I'm cooking up. But anyway, we'll talk about this track real quick. So in the background right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is Uyama Hiroto. On this particular track, Uyama's playing saxophone, obviously. He actually heard the bass line I played and asked if he could replay it. So that's him replaying the bass line that, you know, based on the bass line I played or whatever, and then he kind of reworked it. And then he also played electric piano on this as well. And so the Rhodes that you're hearing is a sample I found and mixed. And then the drum programming is all me. The organ stabs that you hear in the background, that's me as well. The guitar sample that comes in or whatever, I chopped and put that in there. And the crazy thing is, right, the third verse of this track, when you hear Uyama really do his solo part, originally there was a flute solo that was in there that I literally chopped like 4 different flute samples, reworked them so that it sounded like a flute solo. And then I was like, let me hit up Uyama to see if he'd be willing to play on it. And so I scrapped the original flute solo or whatever that was there, but it was really dope. All right, so Christopher asked, how do you balance rapping and making beats? That is a great question. To be honest, I haven't really been doing a great job of balancing it. While I've been working on this particular album, like I haven't written a lot of rhymes, honestly. I don't think I've written, I think the only solo song that I wrote while I was working on this was, the song I did for the video game Renee. That's the only solo song I worked on. So, yeah, it's been a challenge, man. Like, I mean, honestly, I'm more motivated to make beats these days than I am write rhymes, you know? And it's just because, like, it's not like production's new for me. It's just that I find it so, like, the process is really therapeutic for me, you know what I mean? Like, writing rhymes sometimes can be very stressful because it's like I'm constantly trying to say things that haven't been said before. And if I'm gonna say something that has been said before, I'm trying to find a unique way to say it, right? To make it mine. And so with production, you know, when you sampling, I'm not really worried about kind of trying to make something you haven't completely heard before, because, you know, a little bit of familiarity kind of makes you, it makes people kind of dig stuff a little more. So like certain vibes that I try to create feel familiar, right? But then I try to put my spin on it. So in essence, it's kind of the same as when I'm writing rhymes, but it's a little different for me because I don't, these days I'm doing more production than writing rhymes, but at one point I was spending way more time writing rhymes than I was producing, you know what I mean? So I hope that made sense, but yeah. This track right here, Oh, by the way, that last track was called Beyond the Stage. This track is called The Haunting. I called it The Haunting because when I first heard the sample or whatever, I was just like, man, it's creepy, but it's beautiful. You know what I mean? And then the photo that goes with it, it's actually this these flowers that are floating in a pot in the water. And what I noticed, the water looked black, but with these white spots. And when he flipped it upside down, it looked kind of dark and creepy, and I love that. So I flipped the photo upside down, which is kind of like a little shout out to Stranger Things, like thinking of the upside down, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, man. But so anyway, this beat again is called The Haunting. It features the amazing Malcolm Jackson, who killed it on this particular track. I believe, I can't remember if I think he's playing marimba on this one, and then vibraphone and xylophone on these two other tracks. Perfect time. For those of you just tuning in, these are all beats from my new album that came out on Friday called The Garden. If you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, it's streaming on all services. I'm gonna upload it to YouTube probably tomorrow. So the whole album will be up on YouTube as well. Alright, Lounge Man said, if you had the ability to accurately transcribe the music you hear in your head onto wax sound to sound, at the expense of your ability to speak verbally, would you do it? Ugh. Nah, I wouldn't do it. Clearly, I like talking. To be able to do this week in and week out, you kind of got to like talking. I like talking. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I like conversation, you know? Especially with people from different walks of life, you know what I mean? Christopher said, wow, so used to rapping. Yeah. Lane, the music in the background sounds like something from Uyama Hiroto. So Lane, yeah, that music actually featured Uyama Hiroto, as I mentioned before. But this music is mostly produced by me. Features everyone from Uyama Hiroto to Marcus D and a few other people who I mentioned as well. This track right here, one of my favorites on here. This is one of the last ones I finished. One of the first beats I produced on the record, but also one of the last I finished because I went back in it. But this track is called Old Flame. The reason why it's called Old Flame is because basically the piano sample that y'all heard in the beginning and the horns, it's from like a jazz album that a girl that I used to talk to in high school, like it's an album that she let me borrow that I never gave back. You know what I'm saying? But I found that sample on that album, so I was like, and then I had this really dope photo of this flower, and the flower looked like the flame on a lighter almost, and so I was like, Old Flame will be a fitting title. So yeah, but this one doesn't feature anybody. Everything you hear is either chopped samples from me or me playing, you know? Alright, it says, word, always had a Japan type feel since Music Fest, RIP. Alright, Bum said, I'm broke, but I gotta support you, dude. I appreciate it, man. You can easily support by streaming on your favorite sites like Apple Music, Spotify, you know, Tidal, whatever you use. Streaming on there obviously doesn't cost you anything, but it definitely helps me earn a little bit of bread. If you do want to pick up a physical one, then obviously, you know, that's gonna cost you actually cost you some money, but hopefully it's well worth it. And it's, you know, I like to think it's great music, man. So, you know, a part coming up though, where the bass line, because I chopped this bass line up. Woo. It's like one of my favorite parts of that beat. So right here, you got the drums that I programmed. Hold on. My favorite thing to always point out about this beat, hold up. The little rain stick, right? Instead of shakers, that's what I recorded for the shaker sounds in it. You know. So yes, War Train was asking any live shows coming up. I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with this link real quick. Definitely got some events coming. Hold on one second, because I can kind of hear something in the background. Here we go. All right. So yeah, so upcoming events. Here's a list of all of June's events. This right here is like my favorite beat on the album. All right. KD lighting it up. Oh man, I'm sure he is, though. Shout out to Kevin Durant, PG boy repping well on that global, you know, just killing it, man, in the NBA. So all right, there we go. Peace, what's going on, India? So this beat right here is called Fonina. The horns that you're hearing, that's me playing on the keyboard. Bass line is me playing. The synth is me playing. And then there's a couple different samples in there, guitar samples that I reworked. The vocal sample, which sounds like Nina Simone, is actually from a different thing I found online. I just mixed it a certain way and chopped it a certain way, you know. But I called it Faux Nina, like faux F-A-U-X, because you know it's like it's not Nina, but it reminded me of Nina Simone, you know. So for those of y'all just tuning in right now, we're doing a live commentary about my new album called God. All right. Working as usual, trying to get my submission game up. How goes it for you? Yeah, India, everything's going good, man. Just got back in town and stuff. Doing some family stuff. Life is good, you know. Happy to be sitting here building with y'all. Hey, Lane, I'm happy they do, man. Try to make sure I got nothing but good vibes for y'all. You know, it's a lot of bad happening in the world, obviously. And so, you know, I try not to, it's not that I try to overlook the negative things that happen. I just try to balance it out with a little more positive energy, you feel me? It's hands down my favorite beat on the album, though. Just because it's one of the ones where I produced it completely myself. And it's one of the only ones that I know for sure I'm definitely going to do a vocal version and rap over that beat at a later date. Maybe for my next album. We're going to keep it going. This beat right here, it's called Stroll With Me. This is actually, this is co-produced by my man Definition. Definition is the brother who played, he's the brother who did My Favorite Things. He produced that track. I think someone knocked at the door. Come in. No? Not coming in? Okay. I think they moved on. Probably my daughter. Hey, look, someone just asked about my daughter. My daughter's great. Thanks for asking. Both of them are great. Both of them are good. Larucha, sucks up. The album is already in full blast since its release. My neighbors actually knocked on my door to ask what CD it was. Wow. That's what's up. Hong Kong up in here. Hey, man, thank you so much for the love. And I hope they check it out, and I hope they enjoy it, too. This track right here, though, Stroll With Me, features my good friend Mason Lieberman. Mason is who you hear on guitar. He also is playing cello on this track, too. All right? The drum programming, that's all me. The roads that you hear, that's my man Definition. And the bass, obviously, that's me as well. Then the pizzicato that you heard, the low pizzicato, that's my man Definition. And then Mason plays over top of that. All right. Thank you, Christian. Hey, thank you, Bob. I appreciate it, man. Hey, friends up in here, that's what's up. India, oh man, I appreciate it. Thank you, I'm humble. I try to keep, hey, look, Christopher, look. One thing about me in the production, right? I try to make sure, like, I try to make sure my drums are always really strong and the bass is real strong too, because at my core, you know what I mean? Even though it feels jazzy or whatever, and it can kind of go a couple different directions. Like I'm a hip hop head at my core, so I always want the bottom of my track to be strong, right? But I try to put these beautiful elements over it, so it still feels it feels like good music. You know what I mean? So no matter if you're a hip hop head or not, you can vibe with it. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, brings different people together. The youngest, you know, I played it for some of the younger students I work with. They digging some of it. I played it for the older heads. They digging some of it. You know, like people meeting in the middle, bringing people together. You feel me? For music. All right. Got France up in here. That's what's up, man. Huge fan of your amazing work and love your voice. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm humbled. Maybe one day I'll play you guys the song I actually did to the old version of the beat. This particular beat, I did a song called it's called "A Lonely Walk in the Rain." It's like super sappy title, but the flow, because of the beat and the time signature, the flow on it is crazy. But I really want to rewrite that song and redo it. Maybe I'll do it over this beat. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it over something completely different. That's what's up. Me and KD trying to rep right now. Hey, yo, I heard that KD rhymes too, man. I got to look up that track. Him and LeBron apparently was playing around and recorded a track. But apparently KD can rap. Yeah. And he's like a real hip hop head. Like, you know, like I saw him on his timeline talking about J Electronica. So I assume if he rapped, he probably a little more lyrical than some dudes. You know what I mean? Nah, I didn't meet him before. I haven't met him yet. It'd be dope if I could meet him. Yeah, yo, I heard Bron some trash. I heard he's some trash with the rapper. So yeah, this track right here is called Full Bloom, version 2. This is probably the most sample heavy track on the album. You can come in. Hit the door again, but you're not coming in, okay? But yeah, this track right here is really sample heavy. You know, yeah, it's just kind of me reworking the vocals that you hear in it. That's me singing, you know. And the drum program is real intricate on this because I wanted it to feel like live drums. Yeah, little 60s vibe, right? Yeah, drum-wise, this is like one of my favorite tracks on the record. So we're officially at the midway point of the album. I'm glad y'all are digging it so far. Again, if you haven't shared the link yet, please do so. All right. I'm just glad the connection's going smooth tonight, because typically in the studio, like, it's been great. My connection's been terrible the last couple times we've done this. So, and if y'all got questions about the album, feel free to ask at any point. I'm gonna give y'all that link one more time, though. Thank you, Bum Bum. I see what you did there. Thank you. Glad y'all enjoying it. Let that be. Another one of my favorite beats on here. This one's called Some Life Left in Me. It's one of the oldest beats on the project, but like most of the old beats, I went back in and reworked. It's like where I sampled like one note of a really dope sample I found and scaled it. Make it feel like I was playing it. This has Malcolm Jackson on it again. I think he's playing vibraphone on this one. Thank you, Indio. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Christopher. Means a lot, man. I appreciate y'all's support. This track actually has me singing on it as well. Trying to make it sound like a sample. And if you listen real close to the end of the singing part, like it breaks up a little bit less. Like a little just to make it sound dirty, make it feel more like a sample I might have found or something. So whenever I play it for people, they're always surprised that when I tell them that's me singing, it's not a sample. I'm gonna kill time. I'm gonna try not to talk the rest of the track. I gotta sign a couple of these because I gotta mail some out or whatever. You know what I mean? At least one to sign and 3 to ship. You know? So make sure you get these because it's very limited amount of these that I put out. Breakdown though. Hey, Malcolm Jackson, man. Killed it. Woo! Baseline though. So I originally played something different over that part for the baseline, and then Malcolm sent me like an idea he had. He's like, I think you should play this part of the baseline different. And when he sent it, I was like, "Ooh, yeah, that's a great idea." And he's the classically trained musician out of us too. I'm not, you know what I mean? So I'm just playing by ear. This one right here, this is called "Out of the City and Into the Wild." I'll explain why in a second. So this beat is kind of the next 2 tracks, right? Like I was kind of on my Wakanda tip real heavy, right? I'm a super Black Panther fan, right? Fan of the comic. I got a bunch of the comics. I love the movie. I'm definitely, yeah, it's like probably, definitely my top 3 favorite comic book movies ever. Just because of the cultural relevance of the movie. So the reason why I call it Out of the City and Into the Wild, right? Like it starts with these African drums in the beginning, right? And one of the things, right? Like when, people sometimes would, at one point in time in history, they listen to different musicians, Black musicians in particular, and they would basically say things about our music or whatever, call it jungle music, say it sounds like savage, so, a lot of different little backhanded ways to talk about our music. And so I wanted it to start like with this kind of like I wanted it to start with African drums or whatever, so it sounds like I'm about to do something that's very like just like give it like an older sound, make it sound more raw or whatever. But then I wanted to mix it with synths and like more modern drums and different things like that. And so kind of how I see Wakanda or whatever, like when the way they made it look in the movie, it's like it stayed true to the ancient ways while at the same time pushing forward, right? And giving us something new or whatever. And so that's what the beat like kind of represented for me. So out of the city and into the wild, but it's not really wild at all. It's really just, it's the future. But like you can't, it's like there's no way for us to move forward without knowing where we came from. You know what I mean? So it's always got to be this balance of old and new. You know what I mean? Tradition mixed with like progression or whatever. Anyway, been talking for a minute. Let me see some of these questions and then we'll get into the next track. All right. Seems like I know right here the whole night long. So glad you released it on Spotify too. Lane, my pleasure, man. I'm glad you're going. I'm glad you're checking it out right now. I'm glad you're in here with us. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Japan's up in here. Let's see, what time is it in Japan? It is morning time in Japan. So Ohio gozaimasu. All right. Let's see. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. I'm rusty. What else we got? He said, wait, you love Wakanda? I couldn't tell with that Dashiki. Somebody got jokes. Yeah, it's like if you hadn't noticed, right? Yeah, so Lynn says, hello back from Germany. That's what's up. Alright, movie was dope. I had a rap about the soundtrack, so okay, I got you. It wasn't that Afro-futuristic, if you ask me. I feel you. I feel like there were certain tracks. I like the track. I feel like the closest thing to the Afro-futuristic that we got on there was maybe that Ops joint. The song with Kendrick and what's my man name? Oh my God, he's dope as hell. West Coast dude, I forget his name. But yeah, but like I feel like that track or whatever had that saying, hold on, come in. Did you come to the door before? Okay, because I heard someone knocking. Ladies and gentlemen, my daughter wants to say peace real quick before she goes to bed. Oh, she's gonna make an entrance. Hold up, here she comes. Get him. Alright, say peace, say peace. Alright. She gotta get ready for bed. Love you. Sweet dreams, okay? I know. So right now they're watching Black Panther with the commentary because we bought the Blu-ray. So I'm missing out. You see what I see my priorities? I'm here with y'all. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm trying to do this, but then I'm going out there and I'm finished watching the commentary. All right.
Oh well, we already turned it off. So
right, but I'm gonna turn it back on. It's all right. If I gotta do it by myself, so be it. So anyway, we gotta go to bed. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Mwah, sweet dreams. All right.
Did it crash on you?
Nope, it hasn't crashed. Don't jinx me. Don't jinx me. Okay. So look, so this is another kind of like you know, another beat that was kind of loosely inspired. This actually came out long before, or not came out, but was produced long before the movie came out. But when I was looking at previews for it, it's another beat where I was kind of mixing those African sounds and African drums with like some like synths and progressive sound and stuff, you know what I mean? And so that track is called Always On Point. All right, let's go back, see what I missed. Janelle Monáe would have killed it. Yes, she should have definitely been on the record. I think she would have definitely been able to catch that vibe. There's a group called the Jazz Specs out of Atlanta. I think they would have caught that vibe really dope too. They could have been a nice addition. Sarah, they could have been really dope on that soundtrack as well. There's a lot of different people, man, who really, I think, do a really good job. Kate Renata would have been sick on the Black Panther soundtrack. Imagine Kendrick Lamar like song or whatever produced by Kate Renata, you know what I mean, with somebody like Gold Link on it or whatever, like on the hook or like maybe even spitting, you know what I mean, like with some of those different African artists they had on there. That shit could have been crazy. Just saying, a lot of missed opportunities, man. I think Damian Marley could have been another dope artist on the project or whatever, as well. Yeah, she does a little bit, right? All right. Never saw your other daughter. Yeah, my youngest daughter. She's about to be 6 months. You know, so she'll probably be on the show at some point in time, right? Yeah, just what. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I feel you, India. It was gonna be cool, right? Word. So yeah, so this track right here, this track is called Effortless. And pause for the cause. Featuring once again Malcolm Jackson, killing it. All right, so somebody, Christopher want to know how old I am. How old do you think I am? Strokes the gray beard, you know, weights. And then I'll go ahead and tell you, even though you could look on Wikipedia, 36, that's pretty good guess. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually 39, you know what I'm saying? So that's 75. Hey, Indio. Fuck you very much, Indio. Thank you. Right? Mark Miller says, keep up the great music. It's reaching the world. By the way, I'm from Malaysia. Wow, Malaysia up here. But I'm studying in the UK at 3 a.m. for my uni exams. Hey, man, good luck on your exams. Hope you're enjoying the music. Definitely appreciate the love, man. And good luck again with the exams. I was gonna say black don't crack. Yo, Indio funny as a mug, man. Alright. Yeah. Yo, Lane, yeah, it's crazy. It's definitely a blessing, man. It's a blessing to be able to see like your music touch so many people, like in different like parts of the world, from different walks of life, and people from places like where I'm from, to places like Malaysia, London, you know what I mean, and Germany, France, Japan, all the places y'all are tuning in from. The only downside to that, it's definitely not a knock or a complaint. The only downside to that is when I tour, it sometimes makes it difficult to like really pack out shows because my fans are so spread out. You know what I mean? I have very small, like there's a few pockets in the world where I have a good concentration of fans, but my fan base is really diverse and really spread out, so that makes it challenging. The only song with me rapping is singing on it. I'm gonna save my commentary for when this is over, all right? Nice. Grizzly, thank you.
Deep as your fears, deeper than sample clearances, deeper than lights, deeper than camera action, deeper than mics, deeper than transactions, deeper than fans, deeper than beats and world tours, deeper than brands, deepest pieces, all yours, deeper than love, the smoothest love could have made a dream live from home, love the songs.
Shout out to Steph. Absolutely killed it.
From the stage and beyond, ain't a flow cooler like a make you free on for ride through the monitor. I place my feet on like Artemis or how them volcanic, no cling on. I live long and prosper. That's the motto. Bring room round liquor like pass bottle. Long way to right seat road, still hood though, still make it home regardless of where I could go. Good jokes bring the sun up when it's foul. Good folks show you love or come on proud. I grab the mic for PG and rep it proud. They were looking for the real and they found it. Bright lights, get a better look at our life. Every moment is in the highlight. We're alright. Beyond stage, bright lights, get a better look at our life. From the bottom up to the highlight, and we're alright.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna get ready to wrap things up, man. That particular track, that's the only vocal track on the project. It's called Beyond the Stage. It features Uyama Hiroto, Stephanie Gale, formerly known as Steph the Sapphic Songstress, who you've heard sing all over my stuff, Bop Alloy albums, songs like My Favorite Things. Yeah, man, it was really an amazing process, man, just making this record. Got so much love from, like, you know, the other producers I work with, you know what I mean? Like Marcus, like the comments he sent me and how blown away he was by the project. Like, you couldn't ask for more, man. Like, you know, part of the reason why I was so hesitant to share my production is partly because I work with such great producers. People like Marcus, you know, like Nuja Best, rest in peace. Like Deathstream, rest in peace. Like Odyssey, my man Chew Fu, No from Cunnilingual's Tone Deaf, I can keep going. You know, when you work with like some of the people I've been blessed enough to work with, you really, it makes you a little self-conscious about whether or not you have what it takes to really be putting your production out there. And but I'm so glad, man. I'm so glad that I took that risk and jumped out there and shared it with y'all. And I'm so appreciative. I'm so appreciative of the feedback, you know. And like, and time is limited, man. Like our time here, you know, we don't have as much time as we think we have. So, you know, last thing I want is to kind of, you know, when I'm at the end of my days or whatever, looking back on my career, regretting anything. I want to make sure like I shared everything that I could or whatever that I was proud of, that I felt could make a difference in the world. You know what I mean? Maybe inspire some people, maybe help some people. You know, we got a lot of horrible things happening in the world and stuff, you know what I mean? Like with the people, you know, the 10 lives we recently lost in Houston, and in other parts of the world dealing with horrible things happening on a regular basis, war-torn countries, and other places who aren't necessarily going through things as extreme as that, but like, but dealing with their own crisis You know, and I'm just trying to put a little more love and a little more balance out here, man. A little more positivity, some good vibes, and really trying to rep like for where I'm from. You know what I mean? I'm a dude from PG County, Maryland. That wasn't born with a lot and faced a lot of challenges coming up, and oftentimes a lot of people from where I'm from don't make it out, and don't get a chance to kind of do the things I'm doing or even more. And there's a lot of success stories. I'm watching one right now playing in the NBA, man. KD is one of the greatest players to ever do it, and he from right in my backyard, man. And so you know, just really try to inspire more folks from where I'm from, show them another way. And so, you know, y'all supporting what I do by default is supporting those young people from where I'm from, because I'm constantly in my community giving back. You know, just really trying to help those or whatever, and give them a little guidance, help them find their way. So I appreciate the love y'all show. And I ain't trying to talk y'all to death, but I just wanted to make sure I said thank y'all, and thank y'all for tuning in, man. I hope y'all enjoying the record. And please, man, I can't stress it enough. Like, you're not going to see a whole bunch of advertisements for this record everywhere. If you've noticed, you haven't really seen me share a bunch of links from websites that have posted about it. You know, at this point or whatever, like for a lot of these sites, specifically, you know, look, and I throw a little shade out there too, specifically for sites that at one point in time was, you know, was thriving off of posting whatever, like people like me or whatever in the lane of hip hop that I'm known for. People who's thriving off posting that particular stuff who don't even support these days, you know what I mean? So, you know, like the only way that y'all really know what's going on with me is to support me directly, is to follow me directly. So the fact that y'all do, you know, the real ones that's in here with me right now, the 18 of y'all that's watching right now, I appreciate you. But I can't do it alone. I need your help. Y'all keep sharing the music, man. Keep letting your people know and stuff. Word of mouth is a powerful thing. And the craziest part is, right, just to show you the one thing I learned, and the reason why I'm not bitter and I don't trip off of the lack of support I get from some of the media right now, because I know how the game works. The craziest part, though, is like at this point in time in my career, like with these streaming sites, just based on how me and my team have been working it right now, without the support that we've gotten from these sites and these other publications in the past, without their support, right now, literally the streaming that's happening on my site is currently 3 times higher than it was this time a year ago. 3 times higher than what it was looking like back in December, more recent. And so, like, you know, we're killing it right now. Now we're quietly killing it. And that's really dope to see that type of growth. And, you know, and this is all because of people like y'all that's watching right now. And so, you know, I'm very content with the fact that I got a great fucking fan base, man. I got like really great people supporting me, like y'all who y'all show up. Y'all show up for me every time, and y'all aren't really concerned with all, like, who's supporting and who isn't. Y'all just come through and support me, and y'all spread the word. So thank y'all from the bottom of my heart, man. I appreciate it. So I'm gonna just read these last comments and stuff, and I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up and say peace. And yeah, man, and I keep y'all posted. We'll be back at it next week. I gotta holler at my man Sherm the Barber. Hopefully he'll be back next week. He's gonna be at this wine festival because he's a sophisticated barber. You know what I'm saying? Give you a fresh shape up, but you know, he might be, you know what I'm saying, you know, shaking it up and, you know, take a swig and you know what I'm saying? Like, he's, you know, showing off. So he got things to do next week. But I believe we're still gonna make it happen after he come back from that. He might be a little buzzed, so it should be entertaining. And then we'll give y'all some cool updates, stuff we've been listening to, along with some stuff we've been watching, you know what I mean, during the whole Shops Talk portion. But anyway, let's see real quick. It says, all right, it says, you're up there with those great producers, though. I love what I heard today. Hey, Shado, I appreciate that, man. Or Shadow, pardon me. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. All right, I'm a fan, bro. Yeah, Tony Braxton's from the area. A long list of people. I can throw a whole bunch of names out here that's from PG, but instead of doing that, you know, go listen to a song called "Made in Maryland" that I put out, and it's a long list of people who are from Maryland, like some really pivotal people in U.S. history. You know what I mean? Harriet Tubman is from Maryland, yo. You know what I mean? Thurgood Marshall from Maryland. You know, I mean, if you're a baseball fan, or Babe Ruth from Maryland, like I can keep going. Frank Oz, Maryland, like, yeah, all day, man. Maryland, you know, Maryland produced some great people, yo. Really great people. Yeah, shout out to Sherm again. He'll be back next week. Look forward to next week's edition of Substantial Sundays. We'll stick around, definitely. I will enjoy the tracks. I have a good time and enjoy as much as you can. All right. Crystal said, "Wow, in the home of yeah, yes indeed." That's all good. All right. I know too is killing that. That's what's up. That's what's up. So yeah, man. So thank y'all for a great show. I'm gonna get ready to wrap up. This is the awkward part of the show because this all runs off my phone. So this is the awkward part where I gotta walk around the thing, and y'all just look into nothingness for a second while I end it. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up. So yeah, on that note, y'all have a last thing, my bad. I forgot to share this last link with y'all. For those of you who are not on my mailing list, this is a great way to keep in touch and know what's going on. Make sure you go to this link right here. You can sign up for the mailing list. You can send questions through there, all of that good stuff. I try to send out something on the mailing list once a week. You definitely want to be on the mailing list for this week because this upcoming Friday, me, Star, and Funky DL are dropping the first single from Funky DL's upcoming album, and it features all three of us. It's a really dope story track. Yeah, you want to have that in your inbox early Friday. So make sure you go ahead and sign up because I'm going to shoot that blast out at some point in time. It'll give you updates on the album along with updates on that song and other cool stuff that I got going on. If you are in the DMV, please go back through and check that events link because I do have an album release party coming up and I would love to see you guys there. Even if you're not in the DMV, you're only a couple hours out and you want to do a weekend trip to the DC area, it's a great place. It's a lot of great things always going on. I give you some food recommendations. It'd be awesome. And plus, the event's going to be amazing. So you don't want to miss it. And if you like this dashiki, the person who makes my dashikis, which are all one-offs, will be there. So you know what I'm saying? You could be all Wakanda'd out forever. You know what I'm saying? What kind of function would it be if I did? No, I'm going to stop. That was terrible. All right. On that note, y'all, I'm out for real. All right. Peace, 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 peace. This is that awkward part I was talking about. Wait for it. You know what I'm saying? There we go. And we're out. Peace, 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 peace.